and welcome to another edition of Shed Talk, my weekly magazine video series looking at the keeping and breeding of caged birds, and in particular the exhibition style budgerigar. Back to normal after the I suppose the festive period, the Christmas holiday period, where we did some slightly different videos over that period, but we're back to our normal routine of looking at what's going on in my bird room. As you can probably gather, we're out here in the main finch and canary flight to begin with. So I thought I'd start by talking about a few changes that we've made to the routine out here, I suppose what I might call it, the routine in the finch and canary flight. Some of you might remember a little while ago I spoke about the canaries appearing to come into breeding condition a little earlier. Well, the hen in particular has continued with that process. She's been picking up lots of little bits of material in her beak, rolling it around and going to the ground, collecting it, dropping it, picking it back up again. So I was a little bit worried that they might be coming into condition a little bit early. So what I did was I gave my good friend Bob Honey a call. He's a Fife breeder, champion Fife breeder, and just spoke through what I was currently doing, and then I agreed with him some changes that I was going to make, and those two changes are mainly around the routine. The first of them, historically, so normally what I would do is about 2 or 3 times a week I feed the finches some soft food mix. It's the same soft food mix that I use for the budgerigars, and in that soft food mix includes some supplements that encourage the budgerigars in particular to come into breeding condition. So the first thing I've done is I've stopped feeding that. The only thing the finches and the canaries will get in here, and probably about twice a week, no more than that, will be a little bit of broccoli or maybe a little bit of green vegetable matter. So they won't get any other supplements, no egg food, no soft food. So that's the first thing that I've done. The other thing that I've done is in here I used to have on all the time a small nightlight that was on permanently, and that basically just gave a little bit of light to this shed after darkness. When I was speaking to Bob, we were a bit concerned that maybe that additional light was what was triggering the canaries to come into breeding condition. So that's now changed. What I've done is the night light no longer comes on at all, and I've now changed the night or the light process so that I've got just a normal light, and that comes on for about an extra hour a day. It's coming on at 3:30 just as it starts to get dark, and then it goes off at 4:30. So those are the two changes to the routine that we've done in here. I'm hoping that those changes will make a difference and I suppose hold back the canary, particularly the hen Fife, from coming into full breeding condition, I suppose, until we're ready. Well, that's the finch and canary flight taken care of. Let's now move back into a little bit warmer and back into the budgerigar breeding room. Well, we're back in the main budgerigar shed, and the first thing you can see behind me is that we have got the new flight, the old finch flight, new budgerigar flight up and running. The birds do seem to be enjoying that extra bit of space to exercise, which is good news. The other thing is that I've placed the food right at the bottom, and the drinkers are currently higher up. I'm hoping this will encourage the birds to go down to the bottom to feed and then have to fly up, which gives them exercise in order to perch and also to get to the drinkers. I've not seen any of them having any problems with that, and of course as they get fitter and fitter coming out of the slightly smaller flight into this bigger one, they will find that easier and easier, and I'm hoping that this extra exercise will help bring or keep the birds in better condition and bring them into breeding condition, so on and so forth. So that's really that flight now done. I've got a little bit of chinking to do. Some of the perches aren't quite as stable as I'd like them to be, but I can do that over the next week or two. So the main flight is up and running. So as we're in the main budgerigar shed, I thought we'd just have a quick run round the breeding cages and the things that have changed and where there is a little bit of success. This won't be a full breeding update where we run around each of the boxes. I just want to talk about quickly talk about the new pairs and some of the chicks that have hatched. So we'll start off with the new pairs. So we'll begin by looking at the new pair that's in cage 2. And this is one of my favourite birds, a sky blue cockbird that's bred well for me previously, and a normal grey, a cinnamon grey hen in there. So that's the first of the new pairs. You can see them in here, so you can have a quick look at those. That pair was when I put them in, really compatible, and they, you know, within a couple of days I saw the cockbird treading the hen, and the hen spends a lot of time in the nest box, but unfortunately she hasn't started laying. There are no signs of eggs being destroyed or anything like that, so I really don't know what's going on with this particular hen. She still comes out of the nest box, or whenever time she comes out of the nest box, cockbird is all over her and treading her, but there just doesn't seem to be any eggs. So I just need to keep an eye on this, because I don't want to waste the cockbird in here is getting towards the end of his breeding cycle, so or his breeding age, so I don't want to waste a whole breeding season with him on a hen that's not going to produce any eggs. So anyway, but that's the new pair in cage 2. The other pair is directly below them in cage 5. So let's have a look then at the pair that is in the new pair in cage 5. This is a cobalt yellow-faced cockbird crossed to a cinnamon cobalt hen. These are again fairly compatible, seem to be. I've seen the cockbird feeding the hen. The hen does have some interest in the nest box, but so far, other than going in there and giving it a quick, you know, turfing some of the stuff around that's in there, there's no sign of her laying, and I've not seen the cockbird actually mating with this hen, but that's not to say he hasn't been. As we all know, sometimes this happens when we're not in the shed. So I will leave these a little bit longer, and just to see how this particular pair get on, and see whether she does start spending more time in the nest box. And if I see some big poos and I know she's getting ready to lay, then obviously we'll give them time for that to happen. And the final pair is a new pair across in cage 8. No, sorry, not in cage 8, in cage 10 actually. And I had to swap this pair around because the hen, unfortunately, which was just not particularly old hen, she just suddenly went off colour. It was almost overnight. She was fine one day, in and out of the nest box, cockbird feeding her at the nest box entrance, so all looked really well. And then the next day I come in and she's out of the box and looking a little bit fluffed up, and within 24 hours she unfortunately had died. I have absolutely no idea why she went downhill either so quickly or became ill at all. So who knows? No sign of the cockbird is fine, so it's not like there's something that in that particular cage, or it doesn't appear to be. So I don't know, but I suppose these things do happen sometimes, and there's no accounting for it. So because this cockbird was really keen to go down, and is actually again one of my when he's in the breeding cage and he's performing, doing his, that blow in his head and chattering away and doing all that, really doing that show off stuff. He looks absolutely amazing to me. Anyway, he looks really good to me. So I want to get him with a new hen, and I've put him back to a hen that we had in one of the cages earlier, but she didn't want to go down. And I'm hoping she's been back in the flight, she's had a rest, got herself fit again. She looks like she's in breeding condition, so I'm hoping this time with this new cockbird there will be some success with this pairing. So, but we'll have to just wait and see, won't we? So there we go. Like I say, this pair, I don't think I said what they were. So this pair is the cinnamon grey green cockbird, and I've crossed him to a cinnamon light green opaline hen. So having looked at the new pairs, let's now turn our attention to the birds that, or the pairs that are currently being productive in the breeding cages, and we'll start off with the most productive, the one that's producing the most chicks so far, and that is the pair that is in cage 9. And this pair is a cobalt cockbird. It's actually the son of the cobalt we looked at, that we've got with the cinnamon, the normal grey, in cage 2. And that bird is paired to a cinnamon light green. I think you'll remember, if you've been watching the previous episodes, that this cockbird and this hen had managed to fill between them a total of 7 eggs. So she laid 7, all 7 of those eggs were full. The first 4 of those had hatched, I think, the last time we spoke, and I was having a discussion about whether or not I should move, or thinking about whether I should move either the chicks as they hatch or eggs into one of the other cages, and you might remember I said there's the risk that, you know, a hen might not feed it and all that stuff. Anyway, I left all of the eggs in there. The egg number 6 hatched. The chick was fed when I left it in the evening. Unfortunately, the next morning that chick had died, and I think it had literally just got itself squashed with all the much larger birds that are now in there. So I took the risk, and I you know, it was the wrong thing to do. I should have moved either the chick or the egg earlier. I didn't make the same mistake with the final egg. I wasn't sure if this had been moved about quite a lot, because it was at one end of the nest box when I checked. But I took it out and I popped it under the hen in cage number 6. This is the Bob McCabe hen, you might remember, who's currently feeding a single chick. Popped it under there, and those of you that saw my Christmas, I think it was Christmas Eve I posted it, a picture of an egg hatching. You can see it again here. I'm pleased to say that egg hatched out the following day, and it has been fed and is being reared really well by its foster parents. So wish I'd moved the other one a bit earlier, but there you go, you can't always help, can you? So that's the main one. So they've got, you know, 7 full eggs, 7 hatched, 6 of those currently are surviving, and I've now rung the first 3 of those, and you can see that I rung the 3rd of those chicks today. Here's me, you can see me here ringing it, struggling a little bit to get the ring on, but here's me ringing that particular chick. So really pleased with how that pair are doing. The other 2 pairs that have been successful is the outcross Bob McCabe hen that is crossed to one of my, it's actually an opaline sky blue cinnamon, I believe. So they filled 1 egg on their 2nd round, and that egg hatched. Chick has been rung, doing really well, and like I say, I've now got a 2nd chick in there that they're fostering for me from that other pair. The final pair that has got chicks is the pair in cage 1, and the pair in cage 1 are both my birds. It's a relatively young sky blue cinnamon, and it's crossed to a sky blue opaline cinnamon hen. Now they've also they had 2 full eggs out of a round of 5, First of those 4 eggs is hatched, and that chick is now doing well and has been run, so that's really, really good news. The second egg, unfortunately, had got itself addled. I'm not quite sure how, but that's what had happened, and so that one didn't hatch at all. So currently got one chick in cage number 1, 2 in cage 6, and a further 5 in cage number 9. So not too bad. Currently got 8 birds hatched out, and so far they're all being fed successfully, and like I say, I'm beginning to ring them all. Well, I thought we'd finish off just by talking about a couple of things that I'd like to bring to or become regular features in 2023 within the Shed Talk videos. The first of these is one that we've been trying to introduce for some time now, and that's the Shed Talk with feature. You may remember that over a year ago now, it was the end of 2021, I think, we did a Shed Talk with Mr. Rick Watts, where we went down to Rick Watts' shed. He talked about his birds, he talked about his shed, and I know that particular video went down really well. Now, I've been trying to do a few more of those over the last year, so in 2022. Unfortunately, it didn't come off for a number of reasons that we won't go into, but however, I'm pleased to say that there will definitely be more of those Shed Talk with videos or episodes in 2023. The first 2 have already been, or the people that we're going to go and visit have already agreed to those visits, just finalising the dates for those first 2, and I've got thoughts about the rest of them. So I'm hoping that we may be able to do a Shed Talk with at least once a month. That's my current thoughts and my current plan around that. But there'll be more on those first 2 visits in the next video, in the first video of 2023. So don't forget to look out for that. The second thing, and I might be in a bit jumping the gun here, I'm hoping to do a regular feature at least once a month, which we will call Fife's from breeding to bench. And as you might gather, that really just means looking at the new Fife canaries and following them from breeding process right the way through to weaning, and then hopefully getting a couple of birds up onto the show bench, or a few birds up onto the show bench. And like I say, I might be jumping the gun here because we haven't even started breeding yet, but we have seen that they seem to be, or the pair that I've got, seem to be, certainly the hen seems to be interested in breeding. So real touch wood here that we'll be able to bring you that feature. At least we'll be able to bring you a feature on the Fives that's from breeding to either nothing, but hopefully from breeding to bench. That's the plan. So those are the 2 major changes or major features that I'm hoping to bring into at least once a month. Those features will appear in one of the Shed Talk videos. Don't forget, don't worry, we'll still have the normal stuff. We'll still have updates from the various shed, my plans for each month, and of course the breeding updates for the Budgerigars. And hopefully, if we can get out to a few shows, I will show you some videos of some of the shows. So that's sort of 2023 and how I want to develop the channel over the next year. Well, that does just about bring us to the end of this final episode of Shed Talk in 2022. Don't forget, if you do enjoy the videos, then please do hit the like button, and of course, if you haven't already subscribed, do subscribe to the channel, and please share the video as widely as you like, and of course don't forget, you can always comment on any of the videos. Like I say, final video in 2022. I hope to see you all in 2023, and of course, as always, please do stay safe and enjoy your birds.